Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Sounds finished before the boy comes. You may if you want to.
Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is the 8th movie in the Star Wars franchise that has been almost going for 40 years since 1977, and this is the first of the Star Wars spin-off films. And you can kind of tell it is a spin-off because it is different to the main saga, the Skywalker story, I guess you could call it, in which the films had an opening scroll. This one does not. It's the first Star Wars film not to have an opening scroll. And admittedly, I was a bit disappointed because that's Star Wars. It's just amazing to see that scroll pop up on screen. But I understand why. It's a spin-off film, and thus it has to be a little different. And as a spin-off film, it is really, really good. I mean, really good. It's a great film, actually. I liked it more than A Force Awakens. I love The Force Awakens. The plot of this film, well, it's pretty much told in the opening crawl of A New Hope, in which rebel spies have had their first victory against the evil Galactic Empire, in which they stole the Death Star plans. And because of it, you know how the story is going to end. You know what is going to happen at the very end, but that isn't necessarily a problem. I mean, a lot of films are based on historical events, and you know how it's going to end, but it's done very, very well. And Rogue One, I guess it is kind of based on historical events, I mean, in the Star Wars universe, and it was done superbly. And that is where this film I felt really was strong, is its story. It did a very good story, and it's a much more grown-up, adult Star Wars film. It's not, I mean, an R-rated kind of film. This film is PG-13 in America's system. I'm not sure how that thing relates to us, but it's far more gritty than any other. It has this more. It puts the wars in Star Wars, is what I'm saying. It's got a gritty kind of feel like it. It feels more used than any other Star Wars film before. Like the Stormtrooper armor, it's all dirty and used and grey. It's clear these people have been into wars, and the Stormtroopers themselves have more personality than they did before. I mean, they're more human. I mean, you've seen little conversations in the world, but I feel like they had more of a character to them. Now, Rogue One is a really beautiful film to look at. It's got some fantastic shots in this, and it's done very, very well. I mean, some of these shots are just breathtaking to look at, and is fantastic. And the acting in this film is very, very good for the most part. I mean, Felicity Jones does a great job as Jane Erso. Donnie Yen, his character was superb. I loved his character. He was not my favourite character in the film, but he's a very well-developed character. He has its layer to the Force. He's a very Force-sensitive guy. I don't think he's a Jedi. But he's not the Sith. I think he's his own thing. Like, I don't know. I guess like Maz Kanata a bit, who we saw in The Force Awakens. And I really liked his character. But of all the characters in this film, KS2O, I mean the Imperial Droid, I love that dude. He's such a wisecracking smartass with his sarcasm. I love smartass characters. I don't like that I'm any one of them, right? No, I loved, his character was just fun, he was humorous, he's the most fleshed out and developed of all the characters in this film. I mean, Jane Erso, she was quite good as well, and, I mean, Kralik, who was the Imperial officer in this film, I really liked his character. He had this real douchebag vibe to him, and I guess that's what you want. And you also see how the Empire and the members of the Imperial Empire, they don't always get along. And I mean, there's CG characters in this movie. I mean, really, really good CG characters in which they kind of bring back dead people back to life. Like they've been dead for years, and they've recreated their character for this movie, and it's done superbly. I mean, I was fooled. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that I knew these people were dead or that they couldn't possibly look that way at their age, I would have been fooled. I would have thought that it was an actor. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, but it was very, very highly impressive. And I loved the CG, though I am a little concerned about what the overall domino effect of this could be. I mean, this is the most impressive we've seen yet. Like, we're not quite there yet, where we can just have a film full of dead actors, but one day we could get there, and I kind of fear that could have a problem for the acting industry in Hollywood and could affect movies. Like, it will never be the same. Hopefully we don't get there, but that's a concern. While I understand it for Rogue One, and I am completely on board for it as it makes sense, it is a concern I have for the future of it. And yes, Darth Vader is in this film, and Darth Vader was amazing. I mean, he isn't in it that much. He's in it for about 6 minutes, which is actually 4 minutes less than he was in A New Hope. He was in it for about 2 scenes, and both scenes he's in, he is superb. He is truly menacing, scary, and ferocious. This is the first time that Vader has come off as a scary kind of character for years. And the 2 scenes he was in, he absolutely stole it. He stole the movie. He was really superb. And I loved the third act of this film. The last act is superb. I mean, it's got these aerial dogfights going on, and these battles on the beach. It's like a Star Wars Saving Private Ryan feel to it, and it's just fantastic how this is. It really captured, as I said, the wars in Star Wars. And this film, it ends pretty much where New Hope begins. Like, as soon as this film ends, you can just... It's like end of Back to the Future. You can end the if you want to marathon the series, just end the movie, put on the next, and it seems like it's continuing from the last film. And I thought that was great. I really found that impressive. And one of my favorite bits in this film, the moment that made me go, wow, this film is actually something great, was when they added to the films. They actually made the existing films better. Like, there's been this problem that people have had with the Star Wars franchise movies for decades, and it's been a major complaint, and it's often seen as the biggest problem of the original trilogy. And they fixed it. And I mean, they did it so superbly, it was absolutely genius. And I was sitting there, and we were just like, with my friends, and we were like, holy shit, they just made that so much better. I mean, yeah, it's a great scene, and really, really impressive. And, yeah, I mean, it's got some fantastic effects to it, some really good characters, but not all the characters are that great. And a common criticism I have heard about this film is the characters. Like, I like Jin, I like Donnie Yen, and I like the droid there, and Vader, and Krellick, and the CG character, won't reveal who that was. They're all great in this film, but they're not all that developed. The other characters, they feel a little more bland and less interesting. They're alright, they're nothing exceptional, but where I felt The Force Awakens was great was with its characters, and the story was more of its weakness. And really what made the original film, A New Hope, so exceptional was its characters. Fortunately, this film has made up with its story. It's a very good story, and it's very good. I've heard people compare this to The Empire Strikes Back, and while I wouldn't necessarily say it's that good, I can see where they get that idea. As this film, the more you think about it, it gets better and better. And it probably is a film that gets better in time, and I imagine if you marathon the original trilogy plus Rogue One in their chronological order of their timeline, then you would probably love the film a lot more. Like, I went home as soon as I finished this and watched A New Hope, and it just seemed so flowing. It was great. Overall, Rogue One is a highly impressive film, a great movie, and was better than The Force Awakens. Force Awakens, great. Disney, I posted actually on Snapchat, with this of the distributed by Walt Disney Studios, made by Walt Disney Studios, and I just had this caption like, "Thank you, Disney," and I mean it. Thank you, Disney. You have literally redeemed Star Wars from the dark times before the prequels. The prequels, those dark times. And we're back in the good times. And if you haven't seen Rogue One, I highly recommend that you do, because this film is great. And I forgot to mention it, the score wasn't actually done by John Williams. This is the first film in which John Williams didn't do a soundtrack for the film. And it was done by Michael Giacchino instead. And, I mean, he had some big shoes to fill. I mean, John Williams is probably the best film composer of all time. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jaws, Superman, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter. I mean, it's just an impressive list. And Michael Giacchino, he did a very good job. I really liked the soundtrack. It was really great and was fitting for Star Wars. Like, I felt the difference between Rogue One and Force Awakens was that Force Awakens was a better Star Wars movie in that it captured the magic of the Force a little bit better. But Rogue One is a better movie overall. And even though it's not the traditional Star Wars kind of movie, I don't think that matters. I mean, this is a spin-off. It's supposed to be a bit different. It's not supposed to be like the others. And yeah, it was a great film. Go out and watch it. I strongly recommend it. Thank you guys, and if you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment for more.